was reading through Crushed by Rockets in the Current. The opening two chapters mention the difference between uh, the I don't know if it's not really the difference between enjoyment versus excitement, but it's more like the distinction between the two and how to have both at once and how to be excited for something, but also enjoy the moment instead of just be lost in like the incitement and anticipation and like craving and looking forward to something. And like you can do that, but also to just be where you are while that's going on, almost like enjoying the excitement. And it kind of plays into some ideas like uh, the how sometimes the idea of something, more often than not, the idea of something is a lot better than the thing itself. Like even I'm gonna go have this really crummy fast food burger, and like the idea is good. Yeah, I crave this, and then like you can enjoy that idea, but then when you do it, the idea was way better than when you do it, and then the person feels sick after. So it kind of plays into that side of it, and a bunch of other angles. But it's in the first two chapters of the story. It's kind of like the first arc or development. And I figured I don't even know. I can't remember what the rest of the book is or if they revisit it, but probably should be revisited to some degree. And yeah, it's just cool topic. So it kind of opens the door for things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like having you need some sort of um, awareness or like an observer mind happening when there's either excitement or things that are like intense pleasure or moving in that kind of direction that people might call positive or whatever, right? Versus, or also having it when there's some kind of negative or intense thing on the other side. So how do you stay in the middle no matter what, you know?
Yeah. It almost, it's probably more difficult too, because even almost like what the Buddha says, like the positive stuff is the more difficult thing to be equanimous with. So to just like it, it's not an oxymoron, but the when people think how do I be more at peace, they're usually referring to the negative things. When there's turmoil in life and terrible circumstances, all this other stuff. How do I be happy? And we can look at it at that angle, but then there's that other side of it of there's great things about to go on or big things happening and it's all great and like just whoo. And then to be equanimous with that is the more difficult side. Like nobody thinks, how do I be at peace when they're like talking about how they're so elated and stoked for something?
I wonder if people don't think that just because, like, I wonder if it's harder just because it's not informed that people don't know about that as an idea or like understand it's just not taught or showed, in anything, right? So
Yeah.
I wonder if it would be harder if it was more vastly shared and thought about.
Almost like in a world where people have learned the tools. Like right now, people aren't even informed about what tools they have or like how the skills necessary to be at peace during something that's negative. So if people had the resources to just be at peace no matter circumstances, negative or positive, would the positive still be the more difficult thing? Because right now, when people are upset, they're not informed about what resources they have, but they're not informed that being super like cravey and stuff is also kind of a lack of peace. And they also aren't informed about the resources. So if the resources were there, would it balance out? And then people would start to look at that positive stuff and be like, oh yeah, the this is obviously difficult to be at peace with when I'm really really craving something or I'm really stoked on something like that. That it would almost maybe be a lot more obvious if people had that resource level. But right now we don't even have the resources, so nobody thinks to even consider that you can be at peace while being excited.